Hi guys, E equals mc squared. Heard of that? The famous theory made by a German physicist who's never actually a German citizen. How ironic is that, right? Who else am I talking about? Well, today we're gonna review a few things from the famous genius Albert Einstein. Born March 14, 1879 in the Kingdom of Württemberg, Ulm, Germany. His father, Hermann Einstein, was a scientific utility salesman, and his mother, Pauline Koch, was a housekeeper. When he was a child, he was a very slow learner and he spoke very slowly, that he couldn't talk until he was 3 years old. When he was 5, his father gave him a magnetic compass to play with, and he was obsessed with the needle that kept pointing in the same direction and thought it was magic. The 12-year-old Einstein taught himself algebra and Euclidean geometry, and after graduation he spent 2 years in search of a teaching job but didn't find any. Finally, he got a job as an assistant examiner at the Federal Office for Intellectual Property at the Patent Office. Okay. In 1903, Einstein married Mileva Merrick, whom he calls Dolly, a fellow physics student from Serbia. They met in Zurich, in which he would recall the happiest years of his life. They had 3 children, Liesl, who died at the age of 1 from scarlet fever, a year after 2 more children, Hans Albert and Edward. In 1905, he completed his thesis, which was entitled A New Determination of Molecular Dimensions. For the work, he was awarded a PhD by the University of Zurich. He came up with his revolutionary works, which were focused on photoelectric effect, Brownian motion, the special theory of relativity, and the equivalent of matter and energy. He published his 4 groundbreaking papers that provided info on the photoelectric effect, Brownian motion, special relativity to the equivalence of matter and energy. These papers brought Einstein to the limelight, and he instantly became famous and was recognized as the leading scientist in 1908. He was appointed as lecturer at the University of Bern. However, he quit this position as well as the one he was holding at the Patent Office to take up the profile of physics docent at the University of Zurich. In 1911, he became a full-time professor at the Karl Ferdinand University in Prague. In 1916, he was appointed as the president of the German Physical Society that he held for 2 years. During this, he also attained membership of the Prussian Academy of Sciences. Since he already separated from his wife Mileva in 1914, their divorce was final on 14 February 1919. He married Elsa Lowenthal in June 2, 1919. He was invited officially by the mayor of New York on April 2, 1921. He delivered several lectures at the Columbia and Princeton University, then he moved to Washington, D.C. After that, he visited many countries including Singapore, Ceylon, Japan, America, and Belgium to serve his lectures. He was presenting with Max Planck Medal of the German Physical Society in Berlin. He was also awarded the Nobel Prize in Physics the same year. Suddenly, a new law had been set in Germany, according to which Jews could not hold any official positions, including teaching. At the new universities, not only was Einstein's work targeted, he himself was on the list of assassination targets of the Nazis, with a $5,000 bounty on his head. Einstein found his temporary shelter in England. Then he made the decision to permanently stay in the US and thus applied for citizenship, and he gained a permanent citizenship in the US in the year 1940. Einstein, in his later years, was even offered the position of president in Israel, but he declined. Some say that he neither had the aptitude nor the experience. Moving on, Einstein was Germany's lost and the United States gain. He died at Princeton, New Jersey, US on 18 April 1955 at the age of 76. Pieces of his brain were stolen away and preserved after his death. The photographs of his brain were retrieved and given away to the National Museum of Health and Medicine in 2010. Before you consider subscribing, make sure to sleep 10 hours a day so that you become a genius like Albert Einstein. And just before I turn off the video, he didn't wear any socks. Bye guys. Please subscribe.